Good afternoon. Welcome to the wonderful LNER Stadium, resplendent today. Andy Atkinson for RiseUpTV. Another chapter in the York Night season, and a fascinating game today. Top against fourth, the visitors Oldham in the Championship, and of course Oldham boasting that really good win, first game of the season against York. So even more intriguing. One or two changes as well to both teams, but we'll have a catch up with the two coaches and see what their thoughts are on how the afternoon might unfold. Mark Applegarth, kindly join me ahead of today's game against Oldham in the Championship. They keep coming thick and fast, these intriguing, fascinating and really good matchups, Mark. Your thoughts on today?
Just excited. I think you've just nailed it there, if I'm honest, Andy. At this stage of the year, they just come thick and fast. You know, there's big games every week, or so it feels. So, you know, obviously Oldham's a very good team. I think they've gone under the radar, you know, on a lot of people, but anyone that knows what they're about this year is not surprised. I think they've got a genuine ambition of winning the league and a squad capable of doing it. So, you know, I think there's 4 points separating us at the moment, which shows you how tight, you know, both teams are now even. So it's about who can nail it the best on the 80 minutes coming up. So it's a game we're looking forward to, and you know, may the best team win on the day.
Knights are in very good form. Another chance against Oldham, because, you know, you go back to that first game of the season, they really did catch you cold, and so a chance to redress that, Mark, and important to do so.
Yeah, listen, a lot of rugby's been and gone from there, so thanks for reminding me of that, mate. But yeah, you are right. I thought we got completely outplayed round one, and rightly so. Oldham thumped us and put 50 on us, so I think I'm right in saying that's our heaviest loss of the year to date. So yeah, definitely there's that. You know, but as I say, I think we're both different teams from what we served up in round one. But yeah, we definitely know what they're all about, and if we didn't, that round one definitely introduced us to them. So yeah, if you let them play how we did in round one, you know, we've seen firsthand exactly what they're capable of. So it's really important that we're aware of their threats and we know how to try and negate them. But at the same time, not get too stressed on Oldham and nail how we want to play. Obviously, we've had to rotate a couple of positions, so you know, it's looked good in training all week, and now it's just a case of transferring that and making sure it looks good on the game day.
Yeah, you mentioned the sort of grim reaper of the injuries, because you've got a settled squad, you've got players coming back, pretty clean bill of health, and then you lose Liam Harris and Sam Cook to injury. And the pairing today, Will Dagger and Tawamata Afa. It's going to be interesting. You say it's gone well during the week, Mark, so hopefully they can come up with the goods for you.
Yeah, calm seas don't make skilled sailors, do they? So, you know, they're going to happen. We play such a physical game that there's always going to be a speed bump, and I know I've probably alluded to it for the last 6 to 8 weeks now, that there were going to be an hiccup along the way, and you know, last week served as an hiccup. You know, we dealt with that, a very tough physical encounter versus facts, and we're going to have to deal with it again today, and good teams find ways to win, don't they? It's as simple as that. You know, one thing that I love about our team this year is the tightness and the connections, and you know, we've just got to keep on repping that, and you know, it's a great opportunity for others to shine. You know, Will Dagger's played standoff in Super League before, so you know, you'd like to think he's not too spooked by doing it, and Tower's played a lot of rugby at 6 himself, so yeah, not ideal not having Atta and Liam out there, but at the same time it's an exciting opportunity for others to, you know, to put their best foot forward and show what they're about as well.
Yeah, and how big an advantage is it to have someone with the experience of Chris Thorman out there, you know, sort of keeping an eye over your two halfbacks, running messages out? I presume it's been a massive influence on them during the week.
Yeah, listen.
Kieran Buchanan and Ollie Field in the centres. The halfbacks, and it's very experimental. Will Dagger and Tawamata Afa, they've both played at halfback before. They have the wisdom of Chris Thorman. He spoke to Chris before the game. He said, I'm going to spend more time on that field today than I ever have. So there you go. The starting forwards, Jack Martin and Connor Fitzsimmons, who gets a starting berth today. The Buffalo, either side of Paul McShane, Jesse D, Connor Bailey and Geordie Thompson, the back row. Brendan Santi, Kieran Hudson, Mitch Clark on the bench. Taylor Pemberton gets a run. Comes in place of the injured Sam Cook. Harvey Reynolds, the 18th man. Mark Applegarth, the coach. Teams are out. Oldham in their white and red hoops. It's PLT, Phoenix Lalo, Toa Gagai at full-back, Mo Agoro and Kieran Dixon on the wings, Ben O'Keefe, Ben Davis in the centres, Morgan Smith and Josh Drinkwater, the Australian, are the halves. And up front it's Jay Chapelau, Matty Wildy, Gil Dudson, George Hurst, Elijah Taylor, Adam Milner. Off the bench, Elwar Palicia, Lewis Baxter, Owen Farnworth and Pat Moran. And there is going to be a minute's applause for Gary Dunham, who was Norris the night down here and tragically passed away just over a week ago, and he's going to be really, really missed down at the Knights. He was a very, very popular and well-known figure. There you go, and lovely touch there by the Knights fans singing Gary Dunham's name as referee Scott Michalowska signals the end of that minute's applause. And again, our thoughts go out to Gary's family and friends. Our condolences from BBC Radio York. You're listening to BBC Radio York, all our frequencies and online. York Knights against Oldham at the LNER in the Championship. And Kieran Dixon about to get the game underway. Referee today, Scott Michalauskas. And they're decked out in light blue. He signals, we're away. Ball downfield, well caught on his knees by Ben Jones-Bishop, playing at full back today. Importantly, reeled that ball in. And Paul McShane gets to the play of the ball. Little cut-out pass there. Ball ended up in the hands of Geordie Thompson. What can you say about Geordie Thompson? Just been such a great servant at so many clubs, and particularly at the Knights over the last few seasons. As Knights injured skipper Liam Harris walks past us. And it's good to see he's not on crutches or anything. We did fear that when we saw him led off the field next week. And there's been a head knock, I think, indicated here by Paul McShane. It's Matty Wildy down. Signalled by Paul McShane to the officials, and good work there by Macca just to highlight that, but he took a bash in that tackle there, I think. Chris, did Matty Wildy?
Yeah, it looks like he was definitely coming off for an HIA, so if he doesn't pass that, then that'll be interesting to see how Oldham deal with that, and having to rejig a little bit with losing the hooker so early in the game. Yeah, well,
I mean, the interchange hooker, Elwar Palicia, is just a totally different player in many ways, very buzzy. Very alert. He's waiting at the moment in the number 40 shirt, and we've got to say hello. We think they're listening in today to the Palicia family down there in the south of France, and particularly for those who are watching in Elwar's restaurant, watching the game, and he's in the game very, very early as Matty Wildy comes off. Matty Wildy just showing his frustration. But Elwar Palicia, the French international player, former London Bronco, signed from Pier at the end of the French elite season, very early in the action. Kick from Paul McShane out towards the far side and the west stand. and it's a great kick. It really did task Mo Agoro with a long trek back, and the angle on the kick was very, very good, Chris Spur.
Yeah, great kick. Like I said, puts York in the ascendancy there in regards to territory early on in the game. So Macca's showing his experience. I'm guessing they've got the win, so it looked to get a little bit of a kick on there, but great kick from Macca.
Yeah, wind swirls round here at the LNER, but great angle picked by Paul McShane, and Oldham now looking to try and bring this ball clear. A couple of carries for Kieran Dixon among that. And once more, the Knights defensive line up quickly, and then Morgan Smith has to put the kick in down the centre of the field, caught by Ben Jones-Bishop on his 20. Ranges out to the left side of the attack. Phenomenal try scorer in this spell at the Knights, Ben Jones-Bishop. Now on 22 for what's been half a season for him. And then Scott Galliano, the Aussie, always makes good ground, good impetus up towards halfway. 0-0 early doors. You're listening to BBC Radio York. Joe Brown, former Bradford and Wigan player, restored to the Knights lineup today to allow Ben Jones-Bishop to move to fullback, and then the Aussie Jack Martin, tackled by a combination of Adam Milner and George Hurst, and then Paul McShane out to play the ball, gets good meters. Knights just on the Oldham 20 on the last. Geordie Thompson readjusts the ball, tries to go through a gap. Not sure Geordie Thompson realised that was on the last, Chris.
No, but that's a great set from York. They've absolutely dominated the collisions there, carrying the ball at speed, and like I say, rolled Oldham down the field pretty comfortably. Not a great finish to the set, but they'll be happy with that set as a whole.
Yep, Oldham have got to come from their 10-metre line. And Knights fans will be thinking back to that first day of the season, that 50 points to 4 battering at Battery Park, where absolutely nothing went right for the Knights that day. They didn't play very well, and Oldham were moved around the field by the likes of Josh Drinkwater. There were big games that day for Kieran Dixon and Matty Ashurst, who's not available today. Here's Elwar Pelissier. Goes to Milner. Milner ships the ball on into Morgan Smith. Little reverse drop-off ball. And it was Elijah Taylor with the carry brought to ground just short of halfway. Dixon again, he's been busy early. That's not Dixon actually. Just looking in, Kieran Dixon's here against me. Just trying to see who the player was. It was PLT. They do look alike, and then Toa Matafa just about caught that ball. It popped up out of his grasp and dropped back in. Will Dagger onto Buchanan with the carry, gets the Knights up over halfway. Short ball from Toa Matafa, who took a bit of an impact after he got rid of that ball. Shipped it into Ben Jones-Bishop. Here's Matafa again. Will Dagger injects a bit of pace as he does. Jesse D. Ollie Field making good ground down that left side. And the Knights once more pushing forward. Running onto the ball at pace, it's Jesse D. Ships the ball into Connor Fitzsimmons, but there's a big tackle that thumps him to the ground just inside the Oldham 10. To the left of the post, McShane onto Dagger. Dagger jumps as he receives the ball, but it's on the last and it's handed over again. But the Knights are just applying the pressure, Chris Spur.
Yeah, another great set. Look, I think the difference between teams at the moment is the speed that they're playing. Like York really quick, really on the front foot, playing at speed, and Oldham are struggling to handle them in regards to the meters that York are making.
Spoke to Mark Applegarth ahead of the game, and he said that he was really happy with the way things had gone in this extended training period the Knights have had since that Friday night game against Halifax. And maybe that's just bearing fruit at the moment, because they've started at real pace, as Chris Spur has just said. Adam Milner again at the hub of most things. He was a great servant at Castleford, Chris.
Yeah, look, great servant. Adds had his testimonial on that there. Good 10 years, over 300 games. So he's got plenty of experience on that field for Oldham today.
Drinkwater puts the kick through, but Joe Brown was alert to it. Tracked back, collected the ball, gets out to 30 from his own line. Got to mention Was today, who's not on the drum, he's away. I think Ryan is looking after the drum today in the great knot of Knights fans down the main stand. But you enjoy your time away was, and we'll see you next week at Hunslet, hopefully. Paul McShane, Jesse D, yeah, forward pass, he had got a bit ahead of it. I thought that was the case when I saw that pass delivered, and the Knights come up with their first real error of the game. And it will just give Oldham a bit of respite and a bit of field position, Chris Spur.
Yeah, it just lets the pressure off a little bit there. Like I say, York have been in dominating territory, and that one error ultimately now gives Oldham a little bit of field position and gets them back into the game a little bit.
So no game for Toulouse this weekend, by the way. Bradford beat Halifax after being behind on Friday night. So they are on 28 with both York and Toulouse, but no game for Toulouse. It's their free weekend. And the Knights and Bradford's free weekend still has to come up. So at the moment, Toulouse with a game in hand. On the two, Pelissier, short ball into Jay Chapelau. He's brought to ground. Formerly with Newcastle Thunder, played with Connor Bailey and Jesse D up there. There's Drinkwater onto Smith, the two half-backs combining. And then PLT in the line. I'll try not to mistake him for Kieran Dixon too many times this afternoon. I've done it twice. There's Morgan Smith again. 71 Super League appearances for Morgan Smith. Had a spell with Hull in that difficult season they had. Hull FC, Pelissier. About 15 out. Little kick from Drinkwater towards the far corner. Bounces back. Still on the last. Kieran Dixon puts the kick in towards the post. Paul McShane handily placed. Former man of steel, of course, Paul McShane. Former England Knight. And then Joe Brown trying to earn the hard meters in the middle of the park, coming out of defence. Nip and tuck, 0-0. We have had just about 9 minutes down here at the LNER between York Knights and Oldham. You were saying what a great competition the championship is, Chris.
Yeah, I think at the moment there's not a lot between them top teams. Like we were saying too earlier, Featherstone have started to put a few performances in and win a few games there, creeping back up into that kind of top 6 area. Doncaster have had a good season, like I say, alongside the likes that are in the top 4. There's not a lot between them, and it's a great close competition, which, you know, I think deserves more recognition than it gets sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely so. We've seen some fabulous games this season. Penalty put into touch, which was awarded to the Knights by Will Dagger. Another ball on the pitch at the moment, tidied up by Joe Brown as Kieran Buchanan tries to get back to his feet, and the Oldham player eventually manages to extricate his hand. And it was Ben Davis, the former St Helens player. Jody Thompson again, good drop-off ball into Connor Fitzsimmons, but he's brought down quickly. But then Thompson again featuring onto Matafa, ranging out onto the right side. Joe Brown runs the angle back in field into the 10. The Knights press again. 15 in from the near touchline. Kieran Buchanan's going to play the ball. Goes to Matafa. Drop-off ball into Jody Thompson. Tries to straighten things up towards the right-hand post. Brought down by the tackle. McShane. And Jack Martin, players swarming all over him. Offloads. McShane tidies up. Ball now out on the left side with Jesse D, the Australian. Former Mackay cutter driving for the corner. Driven back in field by Knights players. Held up over the line. Looked as though he was heading into touch there, Chris.
Yeah, again, it just got a little bit scrappy on that last play. I think the last 3 intersets in Oldham's 20, they're not quite finished maybe on what they like to do with it. Maybe a kick, trying to get a repeat set. So, look, York have started really well these first 10 minutes. I've been really impressed with the speed that they've played. That they might probably just want to tidy up and play 5s. But yeah, I think Mash will be pretty happy with the first 10 minutes.
Yep, still 0-0. Hand over Oldham ball. And once more, they got to bring that ball out of their defensive 20. We normally say hello to our Australian listeners who get up in the middle of the night. I'm not saying hello to Mick and Debbie D today because they're over in York. They're actually at the game, watching the game. They've come over from Oz, so brilliant. Oh, and a big mistake by Oldham. Big forward pass into George Hurst. And the player just putting his hand up. I think it may well have been Jay Chapelau that delivered the pass. And So the Knights with field position, Chris, and a chance to strike here.
Yeah, good opportunity. Most teams now like attacking the scrum from the 50, so they'll be looking to either take a big 2v2 or get a 4v3 on the opposite side. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do from the scrum.
Ball fed in. It'll be McShane at the back of the scrum. Yeah, they go left. They go to Will Dagger. Dagger to Ollie Field. Little change of pace. Tries to go between two Oldham defenders. The door closes on him. He stopped 10 out. Here's Fitzsimmons again, the Buffalo. Driving hard towards the Oldham line. McShane organising as he walks up to the play of the ball. Ball back to Dagger, shipped onto the right side. Matt Arthur, Ben Jones-Bishop finds a gap, scores! Ben Jones-Bishop, fabulous bit of work. Little left foot step, little right foot step, a shimmy, and he was through the gap. And he gets try number 23 of the season. Ben Jones-Bishop, the Knights lead 4 points to 0.
Yeah, look, York started really strong. I think Oldham were disappointed with the defence there. It looks like they've started a little bit too tight and had to overwork, and Ben Jones-Bishop just stepped back off his right foot, back inside and managed to get the ball down. But yeah, York have started really well. Really impressed with the speed that they played the game, and ultimately that's been rewarded in the first try of the game.
Yeah, different dynamic today for Ben Jones-Bishop. Normally out on the wing, but they supporting from full-back today. And he spotted that little gap, Chris, and was good enough to get in.
Yeah, like I say, I think Oldham probably just started a little bit too tight on the line, which meant they had to overwork, so they're all going kind of on overs, and he's just cut back off his right foot and beat the defender in a one-on-one. So yeah, great try from York, and look, really impressed with how they started the game, and I think Mash will be really happy with how they started. They've played at speed. They've carried hard, yeah, and they've created an opportunity there and managed to get a score.
Ben Jones-Bishop with the try, and he joins Edini Gebi back at the top of the championship try scorers on 23 tries apiece. Will Dagger, left-footed kicker to attempt the conversion. Joe Law and Akuma Tai are carrying the water out. Didn't quite see what happened there, but it missed on the right side as a spectator decided to find their seat in front of me. So it is 4-0. Chris Thorman has been out there with some instructions and makes his way back to the bench as Kieran Dixon gets the game back underway. Twirling ball that bounces in front of Ben Jones-Bishop, tidied up by Toa Matarafa, and then to Jack Martin, former Wynnum Manley Seagulls player. Jordy Thompson again. He gets through some work in a game, doesn't he, Chris?
Yeah, look, I bet he's touched the ball, what, 10 times in 15 minutes nearly, in regards how many carries he's had, how many tip-ons or plays out the back. Yeah, he's an integral part of what York doing, and knowing a great experienced player.
Yeah, former Castleford and Workington player, Connor Fitzsimmons, working hard. Say hello to his dad, he'll be listening in today, Dave, always is. Oldham fans behind the sticks away the south stand. Fitzsimmons again, working, grafting. Brought down by the tackle, and Oldham player Elijah Taylor got a big kick in the side of the head there as Connor Fitzsimmons regained his feet. Swirling ball, well taken by PLT. On loan from Hulkingston Rovers, I think, still PLT. His dad was some player, QLT.
Yeah, he goes to the gym where I do this kill, so I see him quite a bit. He'll be very proud of you know, what P's doing, and he's very elusive and a difficult player to defend against.
Yeah, and of course, good to know that he's in decent health, because he had that heart scare, didn't he?
Yeah, no, he trains regularly now, this Q. He works with Keil Carlisle, ex kind of Featherstone OKR player. And yeah, they're both training on the morning at the gym where I do, so he's doing well. His Q is in good shape and he's in good health.
Will Dagger getting a bit of attention out on the far side. It's still 4-0 to the Knights. You're listening to BBC Radio York. We have had 16 minutes thereabouts. The Kumtai, if he'd played today, would have made his 350th career appearance, but he's consigned to the ranks of the water carrier. Good to see Bailey Antrobus out there as well. Just about returned to fitness, the Australian. Will Dagger still getting some attention over there on the far side. Who else we got to say hello to today at the lulling place? Steve Bowler, he's out in Turkey. Hello, Steve. Hope you're enjoying your jollies. And Alan Rhodes, fabulous name from the past for York Rugby League Club. And I always think of Alan when it's Heritage Weekend. It's such a great talker. I absolutely love chatting to him. Former player, of course, of the Yorkshire Cup final side all those years ago.
He does a bit with Featherstone past players as well, does Alan. Yeah. I see him at Featherstone past players dinners.
He's one of those guys, Chris, I could talk to him all day.
Yeah, he's a character, yeah. Yeah, he played similar times to my dad did, so at Featherstone, and I think I see him at Casting as well. But yeah, some of the dinners I go to, I see him there, Alan, and he's always good value.
He is, absolutely. No, looks as though Jesse D, I don't know whether that's a bit of protective strapping on his left hamstring. Will Dagger now sporting a head bandage, applied by Stussy, the York physio. Gil Dudson with the carry in the centre of the field, the Welsh international. On loan from Salford, former Wigan player. And then Felicia into Drinkwater. Flips the ball up into George Hurst, and the player on loan from Wigan can't ease past the tackler Connor Bailey, who's been absolute shining light in this Knights side again this season. Connor Bailey moves to Hull at the end of the season. Pelissier back to Morgan Smith, tries to keep the kick under the wind. Nice bit of football from Ben Jones-Bishop, applied the left foot, was tempted to jab his hands down at it, Chris, then thought better of it and had a second go.
Yeah, some difficult conditions with the wind here.
Connor Fitzsimmons comes off for the Knights, and I would presume without looking it's Brendan Santi that's gone out into the action. It is 4-0 to the Knights. Looking to keep their place at the top of the table. Still in their own half at the moment. Strange flicked pass there from Paul McShane that ignored Jack Martin. Jack Martin said, what was that about? And then Will Dagger puts the kick in, aims it down towards Mo Agoro. Player on his second spell with Oldham. Prolific try scorer. Oh, and caught the absolute kitchen sink there from Brendan Santi and Geordie Thompson. They'd be wishing he hadn't run that ball back in field there, Chris.
Yeah, wingers on the kick trying to get it centre of the field, so it was a good way to get under him as he's running across, and they've certainly left a mark there.
Started his career with Leeds Academy in 2010, did Mo Agoro, Jamaican international. And once more, Oldham trying to make some metres to pose a threat at this Knights line. Adam Milner almost through a gap, taken round the ankles by Jack Martin. Pelissier on to Morgan Smith. They keep the ball going. There's a loose runner in there somewhere. Elijah Taylor, where did he pop up from? But the kick is straight down the throat of Joe Brown, who was handily positioned. And the Knights initially defuse the situation. Bit of work to do now coming out of defence. Somebody flies out the Oldham defensive line very quickly. It was LNER Pelissier. And then Scott Galliano off his wing. Ball's come out. It's been collected by Jay Chapelau, I think. So big chance here for Oldham. Morgan Smith in the 42 shirt drops the ball off into Elijah Taylor. Former Salford man brought to ground. 17 out. Pelissier to Milner. Ball coming left. And then the tackle made on George Hurst. But Oldham have got to the 10. They're 20 in from the near touch line. They go to Drinkwater. Drinkwater drops the ball off to Jay Chapelau. Pelissier, Milner again, the playmaker. They go to Dudson, took that ball, stood still. That wouldn't help, Chris.
No, they're looking to play a lot for Adam Milner at the minute.
Pelissier back to Smith. Smith with the initial dummy, and then got the ball into Taylor. But Taylor dumped to the ground on the last. Knights try-line defence here. And Chapelau's going nowhere. They absolutely had him picked out there, the Knights defence. And the player who was one of those who was involved with the failed Ottawa project, Jay Chapelhow, both the Chapelhow twins. They signed for Ottawa in that failed Eric Perez initiative. Since then played at Newcastle, Widnes as well. So the Knights still lead 4-0. You're listening to BBC Radio York. All frequencies and online, following the Knights all season long. Brown. Brown lost his place through no fault of his own, really. Just real competition for places at the Knights. And then Kieran Hudson now out in the action. McShane once more out to play the ball. Dagger keeps the ball moving into Jesse D. No Atingano, of course, for the Knights today. There was half an expectation that he would be fit, but that's not the case. Then McShane spiralling bomb towards PLT, gets down on one knee, took the ball in well, and that wasn't PLT, that was the other one, that was Kieran Dixon. They look exactly alike, don't they?
It's the haircut,
They're
isn't
like
it?
twin brothers.
It's the haircut that does you.
This distance, yeah. Yeah. So, Oldham back in possession. Tight to the left touchline, balls come out, knocked on. As Ben Davis gives the assistant, the touch judge on this side, the benefit of his opinion. I'm afraid there's no captain's challenge, guys. You're not going to get that one back. The player who had 41 appearances for St Helens, Ben Davis, coughs the ball up. He's still absolutely incensed, is Ben Davis.
Yeah.
Look at that body language.
He's not an happy chappy.
He's not. No.
But yeah, no, I love a great opportunity for York to attack it. Midfield scrum, like I say, that most teams like to do.
That wind's getting up again, Chris. I'm having to nail everything down again. McShane to Thompson. Thompson into Hudson. Hudson straight and direct. Tall, rangy figure of Kieran Hudson. Formerly with Castleford, of course. And then Matarafa injects a bit of pace, goes to Connor Bailey, tries to slither between the two defenders. Drinkwater, one of them. Not able to do so, but Matarafa again into McShane, ball going left. Dagger just dummied and cut back, but the Oldham defence good enough on the 10. 15 in from the far touchline. McShane to Santi. Santi drives for the post, tries to go through the front door, brought down 5 out. Just to the left of the post, McShane. Thompson drop off ball, trying to work that little run around that worked last week. Kieran Hudson's got the ball down. Fabulous strength. It worked again, that little run around, but a different animal this week. And it was Kieran Hudson that drilled that ball down. Great strength to shrug off at least 2 Oldham tacklers. And the Knights increase their lead, Chris Spur.
Yeah, but he's had a massive impact since he's come on these last couple of minutes, Kieran Hudson. I think he's carried the ball 3 times. 2 15-metre carries and then his third touch of try. So yeah, he's had a great impact off the bench, and you know what Mash should have asked of him to come on and make that impact. He's done that, and that's been rewarded with a try. And you know, I think York deserved, you know, when he kicks this, hopefully a 10-point lead.
Yeah, good work by Brendan Santi that got him close to the left of the post, and then that little run around we saw Paul McShane and Geordie Thompson orchestrate it last week, and it produced dividends for Paul McShane, and then again today, but this time Kieran Hudson, and he needed that strength to be able to force that ball down, but he did to the right of the post, and the Knights lead 8-0 with the kick to come from Will Dagger. He's about 10, 15 maybe to the right of the post, but he's made no mistake with this one. Will Dagger adds to the Knights' lead, and they lead by 10 points to 0, and they've probably been good value for that, Chris.
Yeah, I think, like I said, apart from a couple of errors that coming out their own half, they've been really good. Speed onto the ball, made good meters, defended tough. Yeah, I think Mash will be really happy with the first kind of 24 minutes performance from York.
And it just proves that you can't afford to make handling errors, particularly in your own half of the field. That Ben Davies error that coughed the ball up for the Knights to be able to profit.
Yeah, like I say, I think Sean Long would disappointed that the 2 times that Oldham have made errors, they've conceded off the back of them, whereas York have defended the errors that they've made. So, yeah, like I say, I think York have been real good value for that 10-0 scoreline.
Chris Spur in the Summarisers seat today. Good to have him back with us on BBC Radio York. Knights on the 30. Max Shane again. His interchange today will be Taylor Pemberton, the former St Helens youngster. He was at the Yorkshire-Lancashire Women's Origin game yesterday, supporting his partner Ebony Partington. Lancashire came up with a big win in that one. Disappointing for the Valkyrie contingent who were on the opposing side. Oh, what a kick. Oh, Moagoro's made an absolute dog's dinner. But referee Mikalauskas has said he lost it backwards. What a high kick from Will Dagger. You wouldn't want him to be under that, Chris.
No, look, I think the testing conditions in these wins, when they're kicking it off the outside of the boot like that, yeah, that's the last place I'd want to be at this moment in time.
It seemed to bounce off Moagoro's shoulder, but it went backwards towards the post. Referee Mikalauskas was right, and since then he's pinged the Knights for a penalty for offside. So Morgan Smith dumps that over into the west stand on the far side. I've seen an interchange for the Knights. Jack Martin's come off. That may well have been an earlier interchange, to be honest. Maybe just taken him a while to get round the pitch. Oldham, 40 from their own line. Pelissier. And a change as Owen Farnworth is now out in the action, the former Widnes player, former England youth player. George Hurst runs into tacklers down in front of us. Matta Affa, Geordie Thompson, who's got through an absolute mountain of work in this opening 25 minutes or so. Deep ball, Drinkwater, ball shipped on. PLT tries to inject a bit of pace. Knights getting 27 from the line. 10 in from the far touchline. Drinkwater again just ships the ball up. Oldham look to set the position in front of the sticks to be able to try and strike from here. Pelissier, considered in his movement, goes to PLT, injects the pace. And then Ben O'Keefe, the former Rochdale player, tries to shuffle his feet through the Knights' left side defence, but can't do so. Player who had just one appearance in Super League for Wigan, Ben O'Keefe. There's a bit of pointing going on out there, not sure what that's about. Scott Galliano with the carry for the Knights. They lead by 10 points to 0. They've been good value for that in the opening half hour or so. Sun continues to shine here at the LNER. We had a bit of drizzle a couple of hours ahead of the game, but I think the wind keeping the rain away as well. Yes, Thompson on to Santi. Brendan Santi working as hard as ever. Dagger with that skew whiff bandage round his head. Jesse D comes in field, causes some real disruption. Went behind his own player, going to be a penalty to Oldham. Referee Mikalauskas determines that Jesse D ran round behind his own player. I didn't pick that up, Chris, did you?
He did go behind him, and I think the referee expected him to give himself up and concede a tackle, and once that then resulted in a break, he's come back and give the penalty. But I don't think it had much impact on the defensive line in front of him. But yeah, he did come around the back of the half-back there.
So, Oldham with a penalty. Jesse D pinged for using his own man as a foil. Mark Applegate just leaning on the concrete balustrade down in front of us at the side of the Knights benches as that ball pops into the seats on the deserted west stand. Oldham once more with a chance, just creeping back into the game a little bit. Pelissier, Drinkwater. Farnworth in the 10 shirt just tries to literally bludgeon his way past Geordie Thompson. Felicia, Drinkwater again. Drinkwater thought about the pass, changed his mind, took the tackle. Penalty coming for an impact off the ball. Might have been Brendan Santee, possibly. Might have been Jesse D.
Yeah, they've hit on suspicion there, which is resulted in a penalty.
So Oldham with another chance. 2 penalties normally results in points, Chris.
Yeah, back-to-back penalties normally result in a try, but I think York have defended the line really well off the errors that they've made in the first 20 minutes or so. So look, they'll be trying to defend this set and ultimately get the ball back and try and get some.
Felicia goes for the line, tries to burrow under. The Knights are alive to it. Good try-line defence. Ball's come out, played and almost just ignored by Drinkwater. Then a pass out to Mo Agoro. Oldham have gone backwards. Agoro had to let it rattle off his shins before he could pick it up, and by then Will Dagger was at him. Good defensive work. Here's PLT, puts the brakes on, comes back the other way, still laterally along the line, still along the line. And eventually Kieran Hudson, I don't think he'd get out of that grip. Felicia, left side, Drinkwater, deep ball, goes to ground. Tidied up by Davis, touched by a Knights player, I think, possibly. Chris, is that how you saw it?
No, referee hasn't seen it.
No, he just waved play on. We're on the last. Tight to the left touch line. Game of football going on. If this gets awarded, that's a real ramshackle lucky try by Oldham. It rattled off several pairs of legs. It's been awarded, and I think it is Kieran Dixon that's got the try, but it was the scruffiest thing you'll ever see.
Yeah, the soft try. I was just about to say Sean Long will be disappointed with Oldham attack. Real scratchy set from Oldham, didn't really ask too many questions of York. I wouldn't have expected to be pretty pleased with a kick on the short side, but it ricocheted around a lot and they've got a little bit of luck and scored. So, yeah, disappointing for York there. They defended the set really well again. But, yeah, a little bit of luck for Oldham to get them back in the game.
Yeah, it was a grubber kick that it rattled around like a ball on a pinball table, didn't it, between various legs.
Yeah, I think a couple of York players, a couple of Oldham players, and then kind of ricocheted into the winger's arms to score. But yeah, a lucky one for Oldham. Like I said, the set itself was a poor attacking set really. A couple of scratchy plays, ball to ground, and a couple of plays. So yeah, they've got a little bit of luck there, and York will be disappointed to concede that try.
Kieran Dixon with this convoluted setup with the kick. Getting plenty of bird from the Knights fans, and that'll get a big cheer. 10 points to 4. Kieran Dixon. The Knights obviously saw Kieran Dixon in action in Knights colours. He'd 20 games for the Knights and 77 points in those games.
Yeah, look, it's the penalty carrying the ball that's cost them in the end. The obstruction call when they were coming out of yardage has ultimately cost a try at the back of that. But look, the score doesn't really reflect the game, if I'm being honest. So I think Mash will be still pretty pleased with the performance so far. But yeah, he'll be a little bit concerned that there's only 6 points in it at the minute.
Yeah, that fateful back-to-back penalties that almost always sees points scored. And as I say, it was a scruffy affair. It just pinged between legs and eventually broke to the benefit of Kieran Dixon. Restart kick by Will Dagger. Ball shipped into Owen Farnworth. Makes decent ground onto the 20. And Oldham with a bit of wind in their sails, possibly for the first time in the game. Here is Dixon. Formerly with Ulkingston Rovers, London Broncos, Lee. He had a spell at Lee, did Kieran Dixon. Heavy strapping to his right arm, I notice. There's Drinkwater to PLT in the line. Ben Davies tries to jink past Paul McShane, can't do so. Toa Matafa joins him in the tackle. Dixon to Smith, Morgan Smith. Hangs that ball up. Ben Jones-Bishop gets there, gets to ground. Good work by the Knights fullback. He was only about 4 metres infield with George Hurst and LNER Community Stadium getting to him. and there was a danger he was going to end up in touch, but good strong work, Chris.
Yeah, he did well there. It was a difficult kick to take, and then he managed to find the ground nice and early.
Oh, well, Polisi has just been hit by a bus there. It was Kieran Hudson going over the top of him. He's back on his feet, a little Frenchman. Change for the Knights. Kieran Hudson comes off. Knights come forward quickly through Toa Matafa. Mitch Clark is out in the action, the former Old Kingston Rovers and Wigan player. Ball to Sam, no, it's Dagger. Let's see, again, that ball swirled away from Moagoro. It's still going back towards the try line. Has he been touched down? Not quite. It was Connor Bailey with the chase. Almost got there to touch the ball down as Moagoro was chasing the chicken back towards his own line.
Yeah, he's got away with that one, I think. A little bit lucky there.
Again, the kick from Dagger, it just seemed to change direction as it was dropping back towards the turf. So Oldham safely back in possession from their point of view. Agoro with the carry. 10 points to 4 to the Knights. You're listening to BBC Radio York, all our frequencies and online. Oldham up to halfway. Into Milner with the carriers. Drinkwater again, that short ball into George Hurst on his shoulder, but Hurst engulfed by 3 Knights tacklers. Kieran Buchanan, the last one up. Drinkwater to Farnworth. Shout a forward pass from the fans behind us. Flat ball at best.
Yeah, Pelissier's come off, so we're losing Matt Wieldy early. It'd be interesting to see who jumps in at 9 now for Oldham, because they've got no
kick
recognised.
towards Ben Jones Bishop. Took an untidy looking challenge from Ben Davies. Crowd were incensed. Referee made no response whatsoever as they charge at Joe Brown. And at the moment, they're just trying to add some intensity into what they're doing now, this Oldham side. Mitch Clark with the carry. That's a good carry from Mitch Clark. Come back strong since his injury. Paul McShane indicates that one of the Oldham players was offside. That's an amazing catch by Ollie Field. From McShane's long pass, it's on the last. Will Dagger once more. That ball's gone curling through the air, but too far downfield and just too much on it. And once more, Oldham will get the 20-metre and 7-tackle restart. And the kicks are effective, but they've got to be just possibly reeled in a little bit, Chris.
Yeah, it looks like it's a difficult one to judge it. You know, they're catching the wind and they're swirling about and going all over. But yeah, last two just a little bit too much on them.
Yeah, still that question of who's going in at hooker for Oldham. As Pellissier has come off. At the moment, it's Elijah Taylor doing the job. The Oldham player there just poking his head through was Pat Moran. As I say, he's played against the Knights twice already this season for Featherstone on loan. Irish international, big mate of Jed Corcoran, the Featherstone assistant coach. Moran again moves the ball on. Here's PLT in the line, runs into Matafa, bounces off Matafa. Connor Bailey and Kieran Buchanan get him eventually. Elijah Taylor keeping the ball alive. PLT looking for space laterally along the line, still going, swung round. And then Oldham moving forward. It's all entertaining stuff at the moment. Drinkwater puts the kick in behind the Knights' defence. Ben Jones Bishop, ball flips out of his grasp, gets to ground. Great work by the former Sheffield Eagles fullback, former Leeds Wakefield player. Awfully messy play the ball. Trying to see who that was. That it was Lewis Baxter who was trying to make a nuisance of himself in the Knights' defence. Things calm for a second as Scott Galliano, the former Sunshine Coast Falcons player, wends his way out of the 20. Will Dagger, Joe Brown adjusts the ball to runs into the tackle. On the last, It's going to be Dagger again. This time doesn't get as much under the ball. It bounces once into Kieran Dixon. Fires the pass to PLT. They're like little bookends, aren't they, when you look at them out on the field?
Yeah, PLT's been really elusive. He's been difficult to tackle. He's caused some problems for Yorkie's last 5 to 10 minutes. I think since the try, Oldham have lifted a little bit, and they've been on top the last 5 minutes in regards to field position.
Yeah, Mitch Clark caught a bit of friendly fire in that challenge there, I think. And then Kieran Dixon bobbing and weaving off one foot to the other. Runs into Brendan Santee right on halfway at the moment. This Oldham side, they've redressed the balance a bit. They're certainly very much in the game at the moment after that unconverted try they scored, and they're on the front foot. Coming forward again through Owen Farnworth. Ball put into him by Adam Milner. Drinkwater left side the attack, receives the ball, looks for the kick, chips the kick through, back towards the post, going to run dead. Poorly weighted kick by Josh Drinkwater. And the former St George and West player out in Australia. Warrington and Catalan over here. Orchestrated very much that Oldham win in the first game of the season. It is still 10 points to 4. Right on the hooter, I think. Here's Mitch Clark, just carrying the ball in one hand up towards halfway. Look for the offload, but Oldham have wrapped that ball up. There is the hooter. That's going to be the action of the first half. It's been very intense at times. We said it'd be a fascinating encounter. I'm not sure, is that Paul Vaughan there? Yeah, Paul Vaughan here watching on today. The Australian signed by the Knights for next season. So just having a word with one or two of the fans in front of us. So featured for Warrington in that defeat against Lee the other night. But the players come off at half-time. Chris, your thoughts on that first half? It's been a fascinating watch. Yeah,
look, I thought York started the game really well, on top first 20 minutes. I think Mash should have been really happy with that. Just a couple of penalties and a couple of 7-tackle sets that kind of gave Oldham a little bit of a sniff and got that lucky try which lifted them. And I think last 10 minutes Oldham probably dominated the field position and had most of the possession. So yeah, I think Mash will be pretty happy overall. Just need to tighten up on a little bit of things, let's say a couple of penalties, a couple of 7-tackle sets. But if York can start the second half like they did the first, I think they'll be comfortable in the end. But yeah, close game at half time as we thought.
Yeah. There we are, Chris Spur at the side of me. I just have to say that the kicking game as well by the Knights, just occasionally that they've kicked too deep and given up the 20-metre restart 7-tackle set, Chris.
Yeah, look, the wind's hard to judge by the looks of it. It's swirling round us here and blowing your paperwork away, so we can see how difficult it is. But yeah, they've just caught in the wind and travelled a bit too far, which has given Oldham a little bit of a lift and managed to get them several tackle sets. And off the back of them 2 penalties previously, they've just kind of eased their way back into the game and, like I say, dominated that last 10 minutes with field position.
Yeah. So, the action of the first half, it was 13 minutes and Knights' early pressure told, and eventually it was McShane, Dagger and Matt Arthur all combining to get Ben Jones-Bishop in on the right side, and just a little shimmy from 10 metres out, and Will Dagger couldn't put the conversion over. That was 4 points to 0. On 22 minutes, there was little run around between Geordie Thompson and Kieran Hudson, and Kieran Hudson had enough power to force the ball down. That was after Ben Davies had coughed the ball up in his own half of the field for Oldham, and some good work by Brendan Santee, but it was Kieran Hudson whose power forced the ball down for the try. Will Dagger converted. That was 10 points to 0, and things looking very good at that point for the Knights, but Oldham have found their way back in to the game. I'm just looking at Sam Cooking down in front of me. That's a really heavy strapping on his left leg. On 31 minutes, Oldham got back into it and they attacked down the left side, and it was a little Josh Drinkwater grubber kick that cannoned off 2 or 3 sets of legs, really, both Knights legs and Oldham legs, but the ball broke into the corner for Kieran Dixon to touch down. He couldn't convert his own try, so at half time it is 10 points to 4 in favour of the Knights. It's going to be an intriguing second 40 minutes, Chris Spur.
Yeah, look, there's not a lot in it. Like I say, I think York dominated the first 20, but at half-time they're probably a little bit disappointed to go in only 6 points in front. But look, I think the forwards and changes had quite an impact for York, and Kieran Hudson will come back on in that second half as well. And if he can have the impact he did in the first half, I think York will be confident they can kick on and hopefully put this game out of sight. Yeah.
There we are, Chris Spur. It is York Knights 10, Oldham 4 in the Championship at half-time. With that, we'll hand you back to Josh Hogarth in the studio. they're keeping the Knights on this winning run. Whether they keep the Knights on this winning run in the second half remains to be seen, because this is a very tight affair down here. 10 points to 4 at the moment. Will Dagger seems to have got rid of his bandage that he had on his head in the tail end of that first half. Chris, what do you think? What do you think Mashler said in there? Just more of the same, tidy the little errors up.
Yeah, just to tidy. I think their end the sets up. So I think early doors they play fives. They got tackled on play 5 in some attacking positions a few times, and a couple of kicks that have gone dead. So, but tidy them play 5 out. A couple of penalties. But yeah, other than that, I think he'd have been really happy around the start of the game, the speed and the explosiveness of the players coming onto the ball. So they will could start the second half very similar to how they started the first.
Yeah, I would say so. It's Will Dagger to restart for the Knights in the Championship, and it gets the second half underway, and immediately it's Owen Farnworth for Oldham, the former Widnes player, bringing that ball forward. That sun shining a little bit brighter still. It is the York Knights' 19th game of the season, and of course those playoffs will loom very, very quickly now. Oldham, Drinkwater with the little one-handed drop-off pass. It is Elijah Taylor that's doing the role at hooker in the absence of Matty Willie, who won't be coming back. We saw him down here on the touchline at half-time, change back into his travelling clothes. Lewis Baxter has made a bit of an impact since he came on, and that's a high swirling ball, and Ben Jones-Bishop again. Fabulous work by Ben Jones-Bishop. Had to readjust the ball, Chris. He was tight to the left touchline, but did really, really well to stay in play. Yeah,
another indication of the wind. It's taking the ball away from him, so difficult to catch, and ultimately, you know, needed to find the ground pretty quick to stop being dragged into touch. So yeah, great take from Ben Jones-Bishop. He's had a pretty solid game so far today.
Yeah, and Knights still back, or are now back in possession of the ball. Rich Clark in the 33 shirt thought about the offload. Nobody there. I think possibly got a shout from Paul McShane. What's the referee giving here? Is it a no-call?
Yeah, he's knocked on. He's trying to offload.
Yeah, oh, well, he did try and offload, yeah. So not the best start to the second half for the Knights. They can't afford little errors like that. They can't afford to piggyback Oldham within striking distance, Chris.
No, it's Mash will be disappointed with that first attacking set of the second half, and ultimately the wind's behind Oldham at the minute, so it'll be more difficult for York kicking out of their own half. So yeah, they will need to complete the sets and get to the end of sets. But they're under the pump now with Oldham on the attack. Yeah,
PLT with the run again. He's looked dangerous every time he's carried that ball. And Lewis Baxter, he's worked hard since he came on, the former Lee and St Helens youngster. Awful pass there, but taken by the Oldham player. Big shout forward pass from the Knights fans, but Oldham are within 15 metres on the left side. They come back across the post, deep ball back to Morgan Smith. Just dropped that ball off into Lewis Baxter, but Brendan Santee had him picked out. Here's Elijah Taylor again, out to play the ball. Short pass, another big shout, a forward pass. Again, not upheld, I don't think, by the officials. Trying to see what his decision is here on the last, play the ball. Knights tight to the try line. Drinkwater, left side of the attack. Little kick through. Oldham player went down as though he was shot. Try and milk the penalty, but the ball had to be kicked dead by the Knights. It's a drop out from under the post, and it's a good spell of pressure by Oldham at the moment. Chris, the Knights really having to be resilient and resisting in defence.
Yeah, Mash will be disappointed with the start to the second half off the back of an error. Now they're under the pump, having to back up now and defend back-to-back sets. Oldham will have lifted off back of this. So yeah, Mash will be disappointed with this start.
Will Dagger into the wind, gets the ball up to halfway. That's a decent kick in the conditions. Fielded by Kieran Dixon. Geordie Thompson went hunting him, just about got hold of him and then lost him. Bit of a jack-in-the-box, Kieran Dixon, and eventually he's brought down 35 out from the Knights line, but the Knights were defending to do again as Farnworth once more just adds his strength to the Oldham effort. Adam Milner, ball back into Smith, Smith to Baxter. Baxter held. Jesse D, one of those in at the tackle. But they're in the 20 again. Taylor to Milner. Been as influential as anybody for Oldham today as Adam Milner. He's brought down right under the sticks. 5 out. Taylor fires the ball to the left side to Drinkwater. Nice ball. George Hurst may well have got that ball down for the try. Oldham have scored, and that pressure has told. And the Knights just, they've not really come out of the blocks in the second half. And Oldham with every chance of going square, all square.
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes of the second half starting.
They just started with a bit more zip of Oldham. They've come out running a little bit harder, playing with a little bit quicker. Similar to what York did in the first half, really. I don't know if that's the wind or when you've got it behind your backs, but yeah, they've just come out and started a lot quicker out of the blocks than York did. And yeah, 5 minutes in, they've conceded, and Mashall were pretty disappointed with how they started that second half.
Yeah, it was George Hurst with the try on the left side of the attack. Player who started his career at Dewsbury Moor in the community game. That little drop-off ball, and George Hurst saw enough space to be able to force over on the left side of the attack. And it is 10 points to 8 with the kick to come. Kieran Dixon will be pretty confident he could knock this one over with the wind behind him. 20 in from the far touchline. And he is, we're all square. It is York Knights 10, Oldham 10, Kieran Dixon adds the 2. All to play for in the final half hour. And the Oldham fans starting to get behind their side, starting to believe that they can get the win today here and upset this 13-win run of the York Knights. Interesting, we've seen absolutely nothing of Taylor Pemberton up to now. And I think Mark Applegarth at the moment will think he needs Paul McShane's experience out there as the Knights go through this sticky patch, Chris.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because I want his experience on there, but if he has fatigue and he'll start to tire, it's how do you balance that, you know, keeping him out there as long as you can with potentially trying to get tired, drop off tackles. So it's a difficult decision for Mash on how long he keeps Macker out there.
Yeah, one of the problems for the York coaching staff, Mark Applegarth stood with Chris Thorman just down in front of us. Adam Milner has been as good as anybody in an Oldham shirt today, and they found a bit of space for Morgan Smith on the left side of the attack. Gets the ball into Ben Davies. He has to take the tackle. 40 out from the Knights line. Oldham coming again. Morgan Smith. High hanging kick towards Ben Jones-Bishop, taken very, very comfortably in front of his post. Decent Oldham chase though, Chris.
Yeah, no, a great kick. Similar to what I said about York's, and they have just been a bit too long. That was pretty much on the money. A lot of hang time in the air, which allowed Oldham to get up there and meet him on the catch. So Oldham will be revved up now, trying to restrict York's yardage out of York meters out of yardage.
Connor Bailey with the carry for the Knights. Actually, it was Ollie Field. Knights trying to play this ball quickly. Jesse D coming onto the ball at pace. Almost gets the Knights to halfway. Will Dagger with the kick towards Mo Agoro. Ooh, and it bounced off his chest and landed back in his hands. The Jamaican international just maybe got away with one there a little bit. 226 career appearances for Mo Agoro and 144 tries, so that's some strike rate. He was the fastest man in rugby league at one time. Morgan Smith. Adam Milner again. Been as good as anybody on the field, Milner, Chris.
Yeah, he's played a lot of their good stuff through the middles come through Adam in regards to ball playing and him carrying the ball. So yeah, he's been one of their standouts today as Adam Milner.
Yeah, Elwar Pelissier, he's had his little breather. He's back out there in the action. The little man who signed from Pier at the end of the French Elite League. Oh, that one's skewed off Ben Jones-Bishop's foot straight into the hands of Scott Galliano. And York City in their pre-season games they'll have struggled to come up with a pass as good as that yesterday. They had a win, I think it was up at not Hartlepool, Spennymoor, that direction anyway, 1-0. And of course their season starts very shortly in the National League. Great win for Harrogate on the road, first game of the League 2 season at Bristol Rovers, who are one of the favourites for promotion. So fabulous start for Simon Weaver's side. All that reaction on Monday evening in Monday Night Sport at 6 o'clock on BBC Radio York. On the last for the Knights, within 30. Dagger chips, chases. Phoenix Toga guy under the ball once more. He seems to have an ability just to slither out of the tackle, Chris.
Yeah,
makes him so dangerous.
He's very difficult to tackle, good feet, good body movement. Like I say there, he's just kind of dropped under the 2 tackles and with an extra few metres.
Knights hunting the mistake. Important they restrict Oldham here. Kieran Dixon off his wing, dances one way and then dances into the arms of Jordan Thompson, who levers him to the ground just on the Oldham 20. Pelissier, there's a bit of arm waving going on from Josh Drinkwater in the direction of referee Scott Michalauskas, who we've not mentioned too many times today, have we?
No, that must mean he's doing all right.
Yeah, I think so. Penny O'Keefe, tackle tight to the near touchline. Mo Agoro is the man at the play. The ball goes to Drinkwater, needs to put the kick in under pressure from Dagger. High hanging kick. Ben Jones-Bishop, another great take. Untidy looking tackle from Ben O'Keefe that once more has been allowed to let go, but he's felt that as Ben Jones-Bishop. There have been 1 or 2 scruffy looking challenges that have been let go, Chris.
Yeah, a little bit reckless couple. But that's a pretty good shot, but we've got an offload. Good
offload from Jack Martin. Oh, and then I think it was Josh Drinkwater almost took Will Dagger's head off. It was Adam Milner actually. Just flung an arm in the direction of Will Dagger. Will Dagger ran through it. But a penalty for the Knights. Will Dagger just checking, physio just checking to see his head still in contact with his shoulders. Takes a drink. And some of the natives getting a bit restless behind us in the main stand, voicing their opinions in the direction of the man who we've not mentioned very often.
Yeah, they're not particularly happy with him, them sat behind us.
Yep. Not finished with him yet. So Will Dagger puts the penalty into touch. Would there have been a temptation to try and take the 2, Chris?
I think with the wind as it is, I think it's a difficult kick from that distance.
Ollie Field taps and goes. 11 out. 2 balls on the pitch at the moment. Nobody's interested in retrieving the other one. Johnny Thompson. Ball on to Matt Arthur. Matt Arthur with a short ball to Ben Jones-Bishop. Tries to repeat the dose from the first half and just step off his right foot. Knees in, but he can't. And then Knights player tries to burrow under, but can't do so. He's going to be held up over the line. And in this, with the sun beaming down like it is, he's just short of the line, actually, not held up. Here's Matarafa again. Ball on to Geordie Thompson. Quickly out the line there, Lewis Baxter to put him under pressure, had to grasp at the ball and then take the tackle. Paul McShane, Matarafa. What's the referee given here? Has he given a knock on?
Didn't play the ball correctly, didn't stand up to play it.
No. Well seen, Chris Spur. So the Knights with another little error that just stifling any ambitions they've got at the moment.
Yeah, again, massively disappointed. They've managed to get a penalty in good field position and turn the ball over again.
Oh, and Elwar Palicia completely asleep. They healed the ball, and the Knights have recovered it through Connor Fitzsimmons, and the Knights are within the 10. Would you believe it? That was just elementary schoolboy stuff there. Took his eye off the ball. Big chance for the Knights. Jordy Thompson coming back against the grain. Stopped right under the sticks. 3 metres out. Paul McShane is going to go left. Changes his mind. Still going. Little bit of broken play. Will Dagger tries to wend his way in. Ball still alive. McShane slows things down. Goes to Mataafa. Right side the attack. Tries to go between Oldham players. George Hurst gets a grip of him. Brings him down 10 out. 15 in from the far touchline. Here come the Knights again. Connor Bailey at pace. He stopped right on the try line. On the last for the Knights. Repeat set or points. What is it to be? Jordy Thompson, Will Dagger, ball back inside, chance for Ben Jones-Bishop, not going to get there, keeps the ball alive, ball bobbing around, offside, has to be offside. Owen Farnworth played at a ball that was knocked forward by an Oldham player, and he appeals to his teammates, but big error. It's frantic stuff, Chris Spur.
Yeah, a little bit scratchy from York, but plenty of offloads on the back of it, which is they managed to get a penalty there for offside off the touches from 2 Oldham players, and I think they'll take the 2 now to try and just edge back in front. But yeah, you wonder why people coach. Pelissier, dummy half, that is a coach killer. I'm sure Long he'll be pulling it there out on that one.
Yeah, he just turned his back, didn't he? He turned his back and the ball was played, and Connor Fitzsimmons was just quick enough to get onto the ball.
Yeah, it's a bad error, is that? But look, York will be happy that they spent some time down here in Oldham's half after a difficult start to the second half, and if they can just nudge back in front now, it'll give them a little bit more confidence, and hopefully they can kick on.
So, penalty for the Knights, and Will Dagger for offside against Owen Farnworth. Just to the left of the sticks. Who's this come off here? Is this Adam Milner?
Adam Milner.
That's going to make a difference.
Yeah, look, he's been really good for Oldham today, so without him on the field, they'll have to play slightly different in regards how they play through the middle.
Dagger scores, the Knights lead by 2. I'm never sure which of the Wardles that is. That's Joe, isn't it? Joe Wardle, that one down there, yes. The assistant coach for Oldham.
Yep.
Just ushering Adam Milner back to the bench. That's been a great stint by the former Cass player.
Yes, so they've got Joe Wardle and they've got Andrew Dixon, who also played at Salford, running on with the water, who does their S&C.
Did he play at Toronto as well?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Connor Fitzsimmons, the Buffalo, catching that drilled ball, and then meets some... you'd have to say stiff opposition. And there's Jack Martin, the big Aussie, battling away as ever up there in the front lines. McShane, Jesse D again onto the ball at pace. Ball comes out. Coughed up, going to be first error, going to be Oldham ball. And once more, a Knights error.
Yeah, that's
just trying to do things a little bit too quick, in my opinion, Chris.
Well, they don't need it. It was the same with the Mitch Clark one earlier. You know, they just managed to get in front. I know people might say it's been a little bit negative, but just complete your set, carry hard, complete your set, kick downfield, and re-go from there. So yeah, second time that they've made an error coming out of yardage off the back of a kick-off set. So
Oldham once more with a chance, invited in by the Knights. 25 out, they go left side, they go to that man Drinkwater, get the ball out wide. Oldham has scored. Where did the Knights defence go? Where did the Knights defence go?
Yeah, look, they've gone middle of the field on the scrum, which means that they've gone a 3-3 split. Oldham managed to get 4v3. If that first carrier can get into that first defender, it ultimately creates 3v2, and that's what Oldham have done well there, and Kieran Dixon scored in the corner off the back of that. But look, Mash will be fuming, I would imagine, off the back of that first error coming out of yardage, which cost them the try, and then now again they've made another error coming out of yardage off the back of a kick-off set and conceded again. So look, Mash will be disappointed with that, and we're looking at a response, you know, in these last 20 minutes from his side.
Yeah, the Knights fall behind for the first time in the game. It is 14 points to 12 off the back of that Kieran Dixon try in the left corner, but ball out the scrum. The ball went left through Josh Drinkwater, and I think PLT was involved. And then Kieran Dixon, as any good winger should, was hugging the left touchline, but somewhere out there the Knights got their numbers wrong. And the Knights slip behind, and it is errors that are costing them. Kieran Dixon to try and convert his own try. And he's hurt the Knights again today as their former player gets that one up high in the wind and converts, and that 2 more points in the direction of the Lancashire side. And there's the Knights' 13-match unbeaten record about to go. They have got the best part of 20 minutes to sort it out, Chris.
Yeah, look, Mash will be looking for his leaders to stand up now. They've gone behind for the first time, 20 minutes to go. They're looking at who can kind of change the momentum a little bit in the team and get York back on the front foot, really, in this second half.
Yeah, McShane with the restart kick once more. Farnworth is the man tasked with bludgeoning the ball forward and out of defence for this Oldham side, who now lead 16 points to 12. Bit of 2 and 8 there between McShane and Pelissier. Pelissier eventually on a bit of a lateral run and then gets away initially from Will Dagger. Not sure what point Will Dagger's making to the referee, but he just needed to be concentrating on stopping the Oldham player there. Pat Moran with the carry in centre field. The Ireland international, with a former London Broncos player. Josh Drinkwater just lofts that ball off the left boot, hopefully finding space, does find space. The Oldham player lost the ball and it looked like a certain try. Trying to see who it was. I think it was Ben Davis that ran onto the ball, took the ball out of the air, and there was a last gasp challenge from a Knights defender that unhitched the ball, but it looked nailed on. Like a try from Josh Drinkwater's kick.
Yeah, 2 York guys have I don't know if they caught a little bit napping there, but I think once he caught the ball, we all thought we were going to score the try. But look, they've got away with one there, and if they'd have gone 10 points behind with 18 minutes to go, I think it'd have been a struggle for York from there.
So, lucky escape by the Knights. Inventive bit of work from Josh Drinkwater. Great chase by Ben O'Keefe, and then Knights player has been dumped on his tip tackle, I think. Jack Martin it was, none the worse for wear. He's already back on his feet, but the Knights have a penalty 5 metres into their own half of the field. They trail 16 points to 12. BBC Radio York. All our frequencies and online. If you want to get in touch, you can tweet us. Start the message with the word York, 81333. Sorry, that's text. You can tweet us at BBC York Sport or on the WhatsApp. Again, start your message with the word York, 0800321 333. And the Knights get back in the driving seat in this game. They looked good early on, but on the half hour the game started to change. Elijah Taylor waiting to come back into the game for Oldham. And that'll be a steadying exercise for them, I think. Here's Will Dagger, left side the attack to Jesse D, running with purpose. And the ball's come out again, and this time a penalty ripped out by either Baxter or Smith. They look at one another and say, was it you? No, it wasn't me, no. It wasn't me either. So, tap on the 10. Paul McShane, 15 in from the near touchline, goes to Dagger. Dagger offers the drop-off ball into Connor Fitzsimmons. The Buffalo stop just inside the 10. Paul McShane goes right, goes to Thompson. Thompson thought about the pass, changed his mind as the Oldham defensive line were up quickly. McShane midway between the right-hand post, right-hand corner flag. Goes to Jack Martin, keeps it alive. Ball to Dagger, left side the attack. Chance here for Jesse D, backs himself. Can't get over, 2 men outside him. Stopped a metre short. Mataafa back to Dagger. Dagger wrapped up by the tackle of Hurst, I think it was. It was O'Keefe with the tackle. McShane likes that short side move. Ball touched by an Oldham player.
Yeah, they'll get another set here.
Ball ends up in touch, so the Knights will get another set. Joe Wardle trying to get an injured Oldham player off the pitch. It's Hurst that comes off. It's Elijah Taylor that goes back out there. Brendan Santi sat down in front of us just watching. Sat on the grass with his high vis on. Waiting for his final stint. Mike Ventures to suggest they ought to get him out there. Mataafa, ball back inside to Jack Martin. Oldham have not given the Aussie a lot of room today. Becoming a marked man in the championship. Mataafa, Dagger at pace. All went wrong. All went wrong. Pass fired in the direction of Ben Jones-Bishop. Oldham were too quickly off the defensive line. And the ball went to ground. And again, just lacking a bit of calmness, Chris.
Yeah,
what would you say?
It's not a great play near the line, and when the ball's in there for a long time, it allows defenders to come and kill, and then Moragoro's come to kill there and put pressure on the York, and it's ultimately resulted in a knock-on. So yeah, not a great choice of play, I don't think, and Mash should have been looking more to try and consolidate and build some pressure down there.
I'm just watching the committee down here. Mark Applegarth, Chris Thorman and Liam Harris. Liam's just turned away. Taylor Pemberton is going to be introduced to the game. Try and see if he can make a difference. But the Knights have coughed the ball up, Oldham back in possession. 14 minutes to go in the game here in the championship. Been a frustrating time out for Taylor Pemberton. Oldham first carry, still in the 20 at the moment. Pelissier, short ball, once more, Kieran Dixon. Pretty lateral run, brought down 10 in from the far touchline. Made decent ground today, this Oldham side, haven't they? You know, when they've been in possession, Chris.
Yeah, second half, really. Yeah, they've run to the ball hard. They've carried at speed. A little bit of deception through Milner when they're playing through the middle up until him going off. So yeah, the second half they've definitely looked the better of the sides.
Angle kick towards Scott Galliano. No depth on that. That was a strange old kick at this stage of the game, Chris.
Yeah, I think he's missed that one a little bit, trying to probably get it under the wind and get a bit of distance on it, and not quite caught it right.
You know, it could have drilled that ball very deep, made it really hard work for the Knights to come back. Will Dagger comes off. Taylor Pemberton comes on. And Will Dagger wants a word with his coach, but his coach is completely ignoring him. And not impressed there, Will Dagger, but I think the Knights are at the juncture in this game, Chris, where they've got to try something else, and possibly, you know, the option of Taylor Pemberton might lead to something else.
Yeah, so look, they brought Taylor on at 9, hoping to spark that, and it looks like they'll move Macca into the halves, so it takes a little bit of pressure off Macca defensively and leaves his experience out there, obviously, to try and get them back in front with 12 minutes to go.
Yeah, Knights just inside the 30, 10 in from the far touchline. Pemberton into Mataafa. Mataafa to Jack Martin, straight up the middle. On the last for the Knights though. Pemberton to McShane. McShane will put the kick in, chips it up over the top in the direction of Agoro. Scott Galliano tried to get his hands on the ball, but Mo Agoro's body position was good and enabled him to reel the ball in. But he's gone back over his own try line. That's a fantastic bit of work. Ollie Field, Scott Galliano, Jesse D and Taylor Pemberton just driving Ben O'Keefe straight back over his own try line, and Oldham will have to drop out from under the post. Connor Fitzsimmons comes off. Kieran Hudson comes back onto the field. The Knights ring in the last of their changes to try and turn around this 16 points to 12 deficit.
Yeah, they'll be hoping Kieran Hudson could have the impact he had in the first half. I think his first 3 carries, 2 15-metre carries and a try, so they've got an opportunity in this attacking set now.
And again, you'd have thought more distance on that one with this wind. Here comes Kieran Hudson. He's not stopping for anybody. Piles into the advancing Oldham defence. Plays the ball. Pemberton, Thompson. Thompson to Martin. Knights trail by 4. We've got 11 minutes left. Pemberton, Thompson almost finds the gap. Had a fabulous game, Geordie Thompson, leading from the front as ever. Here's McShane, left side the attack. They go deep to the line, Ben Jones-Bishop. Oldham's defence is good on the right side. O'Keefe made the tackle. McShane, short ball, Jesse D! Piles over. This time the Oldham defence is not good. They were caught just for a second. Jesse D came from deep and just ploughed over for the try. We're all square again, Chris Spur.
Yeah, look, a great carry there from Jesse D near the line. I think Sean Long will be disappointed with that defence, but look, York have took the chances. Equal on the score sheet now, with kick to come and 10 minutes to go, so yes, still anybody's game at this point.
Certainly is. So that short ball into Jesse D, and Jesse D gets his 5th try of the season in front of his mum and dad, who are across from Australia. And somebody limping out of that, and it might well be Jesse D that's taken a knock. And limping heavily as he comes away, Paul McShane has to try and give the Knights the lead from 10 metres in from the near touchline. But that crash ball from Jesse D got him over from about 6 metres out. But it is 16 apiece. Jesse D's going to have to come off. Brendan Santi goes out there. What a game. What a game we have down here. $16 all. Paul McShane to try and convert. About 12 in from the near touchline. Can the little general knock the kick over? He still waits. Oh. Would you believe it? Paul McShane has knocked it between the sticks. The Knights lead by 2. This game that has swung constantly throughout the second half swings once more with about 8 minutes to go. The Knights lead by 2.
Yeah, I think the message will definitely gone out from Mash to complete this set. Look, after the last 2 kickoffs of the come up in error,
they surely won't go short, Chris. No.
They'll be complete the set, get to a kick and defend tough off the back of that.
Here comes Kieran Hudson. Oh, I don't know who that was he ran over the top of, but they just about managed to arrest his progress. It was Jay Chapelau, and a penalty for a head-high shot. And I think it's LNER Community that's been pulled out for the head-high shot on Jack Martin. The Knights just need to make sure that what they do now is done sensibly. And they've tapped that ball and run it. Connor Bailey up to halfway. How's your nerves, Chris Spur?
Yeah, not great at the minute. Look, I think that there's still maybe some twists and turns in this game. But yeah, York managed to get on top of these last 10 minutes, and they'll be looking to see this game out now with 8 minutes to go.
He's an honest fella, my mate, at the side of me. Not great. Geordie Thompson back on the angle. You've got to think about your player of the match as well in the next 5 minutes or so, Chris.
There's a couple of names in there.
Jack Martin working as hard as ever, eventually repulsed by 3 Oldham defenders on the 30. Taylor Pemberton goes to McShane, left side of the attack. McShane still going, takes the tackle. Paul McShane Gets the offload back to Taylor Pemberton. Pemberton tries to put the little kick in. It's going to be Oldham ball, I think, or is it a knock-on? He's given a knock-on, I think, against Oldham, against Phoenix Lalo Toga guy. It was a little kick through from Taylor Pemberton, seemed to ricochet off the Oldham player. And then the referee deeming that Oldham were guilty of a knock-on. And so that little kick at Taylor Pemberton's has given the Knights another set. Chris,
yep,
what a moment.
Opportunity here to win the game, really. 6 minutes to go, scrum play.
Yep.
From the 50, they'll be looking at maybe a big 2v2 or trying to get 4v3 on the opposite side, depending on how Oldham do up from the scrum.
Taylor Pemberton comes back the other way, goes to Mataafa. Mataafa! Yes, to Ollie Field! Ollie Field making it easier, goes round closer to the post. What a bit of work! That scrum play by Taylor Pemberton. Whether that was orchestrated or whether it was off the cuff, Chris, absolutely opened up the Oldham defence. Toa Mataafa shipped the ball into Ollie Field, and he was in there, eager. Yeah. And in for the try. 75 minutes gone, and the Knights now lead by 22 points to 16, and it was Ollie Field with the try.
Yeah, look, Toa Mataafa has flipped round to get a 3v2 on this left-hand side. I'm not sure Taylor Pemberton realised, and he showed to go right and then come back left, which has probably helped York in that it made the Oldham defence a little bit hesitant. But yeah, look, good scrum play, great try, and hopefully with 5 minutes to go, that should see the game out. Yeah,
and to think that 10 minutes ago, Chris, we were thinking this game was gone from this Knights side, and once again, the resilience of this side is just unreal.
Look, they found a way. Mash won't be impressed with some of the stuff in this second half, some of the errors they've made, but with 15 minutes to go, they found a way to come back and get in front and ultimately go on to win the game, we hope.
So Paul McShane to the left of the post. He'll take his time. He'll take as much time as he possibly can. The Knights lead by 6. This gives them a 2-score lead with less than 5 to go. Paul McShane still addressing the ball, still eyeing the post. Oldham fans trying to put him off. Oh, and it just does sneak inside the right-hand post. Paul McShane successful. The Knights lead by 8. It's 24 points to 16. Come on, Chris, say something.
Look, it just shows what winning brings you. So when you've won so many games on the bounce, you have a confidence that you'll always find a way, and that's what they've done. Like I said, they've not been particularly great in patches this second half, but they've found a way to come back from being behind with 20 minutes to go, and ultimately they're going to win the game from here in.
Ben Jones-Bishop takes the restart kick in. There's a bit of verbal going on down on the benches. Don't know what's going on, but certainly some arm waving going on. Owen Fan was involved in the conversation down there. But at the moment, the important thing is it's 24-16. Taylor Pemberton out to play the ball. Looks like a high tackle, possibly. Plays the ball quickly. McShane up to halfway, over halfway. Still going. Gets the offload. Ollie Field, left side the attack. Still going, just got the try. Eventually, Oldham get enough troops there. Taylor Pemberton to Geordie Thompson. Game management now. Geordie Thompson, the old hand, just drives that ball in on the Oldham 20 on the last. Can the Knights get a repeat set? Here's McShane, chips the ball up in the air towards Agoro. Almost stolen by Scott Galliano. Referee, I think, is going to give a knock-on against the Knights. He is indeed. So Oldham ball on their 10. Sensible work by McShane, Chris Spurt.
Yeah, look, we talked about leaders kind of coming to the fore and getting York back into the game, and Mac has done that. He's this last 15 minutes when he's gone to half-back, he's really influenced the game and ultimately been the difference between York probably losing and winning this game.
3 minutes to go on the clock. The Knights lead by 8. 24 points to 16. Oldham trying to be enterprising, trying to move that ball expansively onto the left side, find a bit of space for Dixon. Drop-off ball from Milner. Drinkwater it was with the drop-off ball. One-handed pick-up by Pellissier. Oldham trying to find a bit of a head of steam. Ball flicks into the hands of Dixon again. Cuts back inside. Still going, still going, still going. Gets the offload. Back to Drinkwater. Oldham looking dangerous at the moment. Ball comes out, kicked back. Still Oldham in possession. Here's Baxter. Baxter looking for a gap. Taken down by the tackler, Geordie Thompson. Penalty for Oldham, I think, in back play. And it may have been a late challenge from Kieran Buchanan. Tackle off the ball by Kieran Buchanan. So penalty for Oldham. 24-16 to the Knights. We have Oldham just ambling but to get back onside. The clock's gone off. Timekeeper's just in front of us. We'll try and find out from Mark Ebblethwaite what time we've got left in the game. 1.5 minutes left. Mark shouts in my direction. Thank you, Mark. So, 8 points behind Oldham, but pressing at the moment. Pellissier to Drinkwater. Drinkwater, they try and find a gap up the middle. Inside the 10. Pellissier again. Ducks back the other way, runs into Taylor Pemberton. Ducks back again. Tries to keep the ball alive. Ben O'Keefe tries to go past players. He's tackled. How many tackles left in the bag here for Oldham? Moagoro jumps off the mark. Throws a horrible pass. Kick forward. And I don't think that's going to count. That's going to be a drop out under the post. It was knocked dead by the work of Ben Jones-Bishop, but it was a close call, Chris.
Yeah, look, bit of a scrappy set, but they've managed to get away with York. Like I say, Oldham are playing with, no fear now because they're trying to win the game, so they're throwing the ball all over. But York have managed to defend it, and yeah, they've just about seen the game out now.
Yeah, we've got about a minute left. The Knights lead 24-16. And the Knights have to drop out from under the post. They'll be in absolutely no hurry to do that. It's Paul McShane, ball in hand. Thumps the ball out towards the touchline. Oldham back in possession. Here comes Dixon again. Jack in a box, somebody takes his legs away. And the Knights he's lost the ball. The Knights are back in possession. That should be the game. It was Scott Galliano who recovered the ball. It wasn't Scott Galliano who's over here. It was Mitch Clark. Yeah, you're right, Chris. So the Knights should be able to see the game out from here. They lead 24-16. There's the hooter. The Knights have done it. They are still top of the table. They're now top of the table by 2 points. They are now 14 games on the bounce unbeaten. But what a close call today against a very good Oldham side. But the Lancashire side couldn't get the double over the Knights. Big effort. They led after an hour. But the game has gone the way of the York Knights. And Chris, just a fantastic championship game again.
Yeah, look, it's been a great game. I've really enjoyed it. York not at the best in patches, but with 20 minutes to go, they found a way. And that's what good teams do. The confidence they've got from the winning streak they're on, some of the experience the players have got in there. Look, they've found a way and gone on to win that game. So, look, having based on that and what I've seen so far, I'd be tipping York to go on and potentially finish top of the league.
68 minutes gone, 12 minutes left. The Knights trail by 4. We saw the Knights try and promote the ball onto the left side through Will Dagger. There was a hurried pass, ball went to ground, didn't reach Ben Jones-Bishop. The coaching staff had to make a big call and they pulled Will Dagger off, and he was absolutely horrified that he'd been brought off to put Taylor Pemberton down there.
Look,
but I think it's won the Knights the game, hasn't it?
Yeah, look, Paul McShane been massive in the middle for 60 minutes, got onto the edge and ultimately played a big part in the tries that York scored. So look, we talked about leaders standing up for York that last 20 minutes, and Macca did that. I think Ben Jones-Bishop had a great game and dealt with a lot of the kicks really well in a difficult win, but that last 15 minutes for me just showed why Macca is the leader of this team and ultimately probably just took the man of the match award away from Ben Jones-Bishop for me.
Yeah, and so important as well, his influence when you've got a player like Liam Harris missing, Attingano, of course,
yeah, look, I think that showed today with the two new guys in the halves. The miss Liam and his confidence and his orchestration and the way he plays the game. You know, he's been a great player for this club in different spells. So yeah, the miss Liam Harris massively. And that last 15 minutes when Maka went to half, you know, he influenced the game and ultimately played a big part in York winning.
There's some very big individual performances besides the two that you've mentioned. Jordan Thompson as ever.
Yeah,
you
look,
know,
he's great in the middle. They know they're going to get 80 minutes out of him. He carries, he's the ball player through the middle. So you know, Jordan was massively good again today. I thought Kieran Hudson carried really well off the bench. You know, he only 2 short stints. I think the second one was due to injury, but he carried really well off the bench. You know, Ben Jones-Bishop, I've already mentioned, was I thought great throughout. But look, Paul McShane, years of experience, played at the top level, and that showed today and was the difference ultimately between the two teams in the end. Yeah,
well, I just want to mention one more as well who became more and more influential as the game wore on. Got the try that really sealed the game for the Knights, young Ollie Field. He just gets better and better. Yeah, look, centre's a really difficult position to play in, regard. You need to be really skillful. You need to be able to defend on the edge and make the right decisions at the right time. So as a young player, it's a tough position to play and doesn't necessarily get kind of shown as that. So for him to come in and do what he's done for this club and score ultimately the match-winning try, that's great for Ollie. Yeah, so there we are. Chris Spur, as I say, great to have him alongside me again today for the afternoon, and hope you've enjoyed your day with us, Chris. Look, yeah, I really enjoyed the game. Great to be back down here at York. Great club, and hopefully we'll see him in Super League next year. Yeah, you've seen some of your old mates as well today. Yeah, I've seen one or two. Yeah, been a few. Mick Ramsden, a great guy. Saw Jimmy Kainos as well in the kind of at half time, who played here a couple of years back. Adam Prentice, who's worked here a long time now. Adam. So yeah, it's been great to come back down. Look, I enjoyed my time playing and coaching here, so I love coming back down, and this is a Super League club in the making, definitely. Yeah, well, all the best for the future with your stuff at the RFL and Cass, and hope to see you again down here shortly. We'll try and get another one in before the end of the season, Chris. Thanks for input today, brilliant. Cheers, Andy, thank you. So there we are, that's Chris Spur sat at the side of me. Just quickly through the action of the second half, it was 10 points to 4 at half-time. From there, it was Oldham that struck first in the second half on 46 minutes after some pressure and a couple of Knights errors. And it was Josh Drinkwaters' offload into George Hurst, and he forced over from about 6 metres out. Kieran Dixon tied us up at 10 points apiece. But then on 58 minutes, it was Elwar Palicia took his eye off the ball at a heel in front of his own sticks. It was unbelievable, really. And Connor Fitzsimmons dived on the ball. Ben Jones-Bishop went close, but then Oldham were pinged for offside as the ball bobbled loose, and Owen Farnworth picked it up from an offside position. Will Dagger took the 2. That was 12 points to 10, but on the hour mark, a Jesse D error, handling error, turned the ball over, and from there, from the scrum 25 metres out, Oldham just cut through on the left side, and quite alarming really where the Knights defence went down that right-hand side, but it was Kieran Dixon scoring again against his old club, and he converted. And at 16 points to 12, we began to wonder. We really did begin to wonder. There were a couple of little glitchy errors in the Knights going forward, and eventually the coaching staff made that call to withdraw Will Dagger and give Taylor Pemberton a run out there. On 70 minutes, after some brilliant work by Geordie Thompson getting the Knights going forward, it was Paul McShane, short ball to Jesse D, and on the crash ball he went over from 6 metres out. That tied us up. Cool as a cucumber, Paul McShane converted. The Knights led 18 points to 16 on 75 minutes after some good work by Taylor Pemberton up the left side, put a little grubber kick in, and PLT, the Oldham fullback, knocked on, and the Knights there just moved the ball eventually onto the left side of the attack. It was Pemberton to Mata Affa, and it was Ollie Field who went in for the try to give him a 22-16 lead. Paul McShane knocked the kick over. The Knights won by 8. They remain top of the table. What a game, just enthralling championship action once more for the big crowd here in the sunshine at the LNER. Some fabulous individual performances. No Liam Harris, no Sam Cook, But the Knights once more have found a way to win, and this side, we've said it so many times this season, their resilience, their determination to get the game over the line is just remarkable, quite remarkable. Right, I think that's enough for me. For now, we have 10 minutes left on the programme. We'll hope to get Mark Applegarth before the programme ends. If we don't, we'll carry that on our social media platforms later on. The Knights are at Hunslet next Sunday, away at the Old Foe at the South Leeds Stadium, and I'll have former Hunslet hooker with me in the summarisers seat on that day, Charlie Hughes, who I also know through his work in amateur boxing with United Amateur Boxing Club in Leeds. So that'll be a good day next week. The Knights against Hunslet. Don't forget to join us, but in the meantime, I'll hand you back to that man in the studio, and I will get his name right this time. James Hogarth.